Hello and welcome to my May wrap-up vlog. I have not finished a book yet. Well, technically I finished 2 books this month, but they're gonna be my April wrap-up. But my book outlet haul is here. I did a small order from the book outlet. Basically I had a 20% off a gift coupon. Brain cells are at 0 right now. I had a 20% off coupon from Indigo because of my birthday month, and so I went in there to pick up the rest of the off-campus series. Then I had this like go back and forth between buying certain books and not buying certain books, and then I ended up on Book Outlet in the store and found out which from that series they had. I know these books aren't in like great condition, but I've never had one that's been ripped. And then I thought I'd go look at self-help books, and I ended up picking up The Courage to Be Disliked because I want to read this one. And then when I looked this book up on Google, it came up on the Book Outlet, and then I was like, oh yeah, I should just check what they have on the Book Outlet. So I got this one. Non-fictions aren't my go-to, but I really wanted to read this one, and so I thought paying whatever I paid, like $8-9 for this, felt a lot better than $20. Then I went on there to see what off-campus series that they have on there, what I could get. So I ended up getting, I'm gonna have mismatch copies. This one was not supposed to be this cover. I needed book 2, The Mistake. And so the first book I have in the original covers, and Book Outlet didn't have book 4, so I just needed to get book 2 and 3 in the off-campus series. So I have the first one in the regular cover, this one in the new cartoon cover. The third one was also supposed to be in, and the fourth one I have in the cartoon cover. The third one was also supposed to be in the cartoon cover, but I got it in the original one, which is fine. I'm not mad about it, but I was gonna try and transfer all of my books to be the cartoon ones eventually. Just have to rebuy the first one, but whatever. So I have The Mistake and The Score from the off-campus series, and then I was like, well, I might as well, since I'm not buying the off-campus series at Indigo with my 20% off, I might as well check out the Briar U series, which is the spin-off series, and see what they have on Book Outlet. So they had The Chase, which is I think it's the first book in this series. This was the only one they had, so I ended up buying the other 3 books, the new cartoon covers. But then I need like less than $1 to do free shipping, and then I remembered 2 books that I already had in my cart from Book Outlet, so it's kind of perfect. I got The Legacies by Jessica Goodman. Yeah, Jessica Goodman. I've read a couple of her books and I like them for the most part. They Wish There Were Us I liked. They'll Never Catch Us was okay. Ended up unhauling it, and The Counselors I really loved. So, and then I think I have a new one from her as well, so I'm really excited for this one. It's just a YA mystery, and same with The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas. This one has a rip on it. Again, I know it's like things with mistakes and whatever is what you get at Book Outlet, but I've never had that big of a noticeable thing. It's usually stuff like that. So that's disappointing, but oh well. I'm sorry, I'm really tired, so I think I sound silly and like tired right now, but that is my haul. So now I can finally continue on in the off-campus series, which I'm really excited about, and I'm excited about all of those. So this is the first book that I technically read in May, which is this book, Will Bury Me by Ashley Winstead. This is the newest release from Ashley Winstead, and it follows our main character, I forget what her name is, Jane, who had a very sudden loss of her father, and she is dealing with that, and it's really hard for her to get through, and she finds herself in this true crime forum and gets sucked in right away with helping solve cases or whatever, being an amateur sleuth. And she kind of finds her own found family through this. They all have the same interest. There's this crazy murder in Idaho of these college students, and so this is very obviously inspired by the Idaho 4 murders. So Jane and her friends all decide that they're gonna solve this and kind of do anything that they can to solve it. This is written as if Jane is writing the book or writing a book. She'll be like, no matter what this person said or whatever, this is how I was feeling at this point, blah, blah, blah. I have really conflicting feelings because I feel like this book could have been done differently and it would have been perfectly fine. I am not a huge fan that a big part of this book was based on the Idaho 4. I know a lot of these murder mystery kind of books would be inspired by different true crime events, but this one was so close for a majority of the book. It does differ in ways, but some of the details were so close that it was like kind of icky feeling. And I just put myself in the shoes of like, if I was related to someone who was murdered, like one of the Idaho 4, or had any relation to them in any way, I think I would probably be upset by this book. So that's what is making me about this book. I think Ashley Winstead could have wrote this book with just a completely different murder and it would have been good, even if she had someone like Bryan Kohberger, because there is a character in here who is very obviously based on Bryan Kohberger, but even if she had someone like that, I wouldn't be as mad about because, or I wouldn't be as about because he's awful. But it's more like the victims. She doesn't say anything rude about the victims, like it doesn't blame them. That I can remember that I noticed. I don't think she was disrespectful in that way. I just don't think that it's the right time, right idea. I don't know. It just made me feel icky. So I didn't give this any rating because of that. Like, I think she could have done the forum with a different, and the found family stuff with a different murder. And it would have been great because I really liked those aspects of it. But the murder itself and the details and all of that made me not feel great, which sucks because I really like some of Ashley Winstead's books, but now I'm like half and half. I love The Last Housewife and In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. That's one of my favorite books ever, but her last book, The Midnight is the Darkest Hour, was not good. This one is good in theory with what some of the ideas are, but some of the ideas were icky for me. So I don't know. I was really excited about this. It was also really long. Like, it's almost 500 pages, to be honest, or almost 450 maybe, which is kind of crazy. I did read it. That's the first book that I've read in May, and hopefully I have a good reading month this month. I am feeling like I'm going to be really busy, so I'm a little worried about that, but we'll get through it. So. Okay, hello guys. It is officially the 6th of May and I've read 2 more books. I actually finished both of them yesterday, so let's talk about them. I listened to The Good, the Bad, and the Aunties by Jessie Q Sutanto. I think that's what it's called, which is the 3rd and apparently final book in the Aunties series. I did not know that until I was putting in my rating and someone in a review mentioned it was the last one, so I went and checked the author's Instagram, and yeah, it's the last one, which is sad because I actually really enjoy this series. I think it's super cute, fun, just enjoyable, lighthearted mystery. Since it's the 3rd in the series, I guess I can't really tell you what it's about spoiler wise, but our main character from the last couple books, Meddy, and her aunties are in Jakarta, I think is how you pronounce it, spending Chinese New Year with their entire extended family. and her aunties are, and her mom and her aunties are from there originally, so they have ties to that city and the people there other than their family, so things kind of go from there. It's always like a crazy hijinks cozy mystery, so if you're not into that, don't read these, because not all of it's gonna happen, not all of it actually makes sense. Like, it makes sense in the way there's not a bunch of plot holes, but far-fetched stuff, I guess, with like these cozy mysteries, and they're just supposed to be fun. It's a bunch of old ladies, so they get stuff done that maybe you don't think they'd actually get done, but I really enjoy them, and I'm sad that the series is over. But I also like the Vera Wong series from this author, and that's gonna be one of the next books I read because I have a hold from the library. At least I have that. Then I physically read The Bitter End by Alexa Dawn. This is one of the... Okay, so I just physically read Caught Up by Liz Tomford, and I loved that book. I really enjoyed it. Incredible. But this one, I have not had an experience in a long time physically reading a book where I've just wanted to devour it and like did not want to put it down, and I had that with this one, and I think I've just been craving a YA mystery, and this really did it for me. I think that's part of the reason I could just read it so fast and not want to put it down and just have such a good time physically reading, because most of my reading nowadays is audiobooks, just because I can listen to audiobooks while I'm at work, and so that's like when I can actually get reading done. Usually it's a lot harder to find the time to do physically reading, and to be fair, I've started this on the weekend and I was on break from school until yesterday, so I had a little bit more time this weekend, but also just not watching reels or TV shows or TikTok or whatever and reading instead of that was great. But this book made me want to do that, you know, because I was so interested. So this one's about 8 teens who end up on this school trip. Everyone from their prep school ends up on a trip, and for some reason these 8 people get pushed onto this trip, whether it's this was the only one that was open, or the ones that they originally were going to go on filled up, so they got bumped to this one. They end up going on this trip to a mountain that is like a technology detox, just for like 3 days. We have different tropes. So Willa believes she's cursed. Now bad luck has followed her up the mountain. Declan is a TikTok famous guy. Delaney is the perfect girlfriend. Wyatt has mastered every video game. Too bad there's no extra lives in real life. Eden has never shied away from drama. Will her secrets get the best of her? Liam is a literal Boy Scout, and Camille is the ultimate competitor, and she'll fight to the death. Piper wasn't supposed to be on this trip at all, or was she? So there's a couple girls that no one likes on this trip. The really popular mean girl, her friends, the popular boys, etc. There's a blizzard, and someone ends up dead, and they can't contact anyone. They can't get out because they're really high in the mountains, and they don't know who the killer is. So I really enjoyed this. I've read a book from Alexa Dawn before. I read The Ivies, and I enjoyed that one as well. So I had a feeling I was going to enjoy this one, but I'm glad I got to it. And I feel like it put me on a really good track for reading this month. Hopefully. I might try and sneak another YA mystery in this month. I'm going to physically read first the 2 books that I need to physically read. And then hopefully I have time for another one. But I have to... One, I'm reading with my friends, so I need to read that. That needs to be a priority. This was just it for me. I gave it 4 stars. I didn't even give it 5 stars. But it was just so good. And I saw lots of people in the reviews saying, oh, the characters are so unlikable. They're not supposed to be likable. I say that all the time, but that's one of my biggest pet peeves with like mysteries and thrillers. Most of the time, most of the characters aren't really supposed to be likable. That's why they're getting killed usually, is because they're such bad people. But this was such a good read. So if you're looking for a quick, easy popcorn read, I would recommend this one. So I have a bunch of holds from the library in right now, so you will probably see me finish like a book a day for the next little bit. Okay, hello again. It is still the 6th and I finished another book. I warned you that you would see me again soon, but I listened to The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This is the first time I've ever read it. First book from TJ Klune ever, and I really enjoyed this one. Let me see what it says it's about. So we have our main character, Linus Baker, who kind of lives a boring life, does kind of the same things every day, doesn't have friendships, relationships. He has his job, but he doesn't really strive for more. So he works, he's a caseworker at the department in charge of magical youth. And he is a stickler for the rules, and so the extremely upper management give him a task to go spend a month at this orphanage where 6 dangerous children reside: a gnome, a sprite, a wyvern, and an unidentifiable green blob, a were-Pomeranian, and the Antichrist. And so he's tasked with making sure that they're safe, but also that they're not going to bring basically the end of days to the world. There is their caretaker, Arthur, as well. Linus starts to develop relationships with each character in different ways and starts caring about them, which he has never really done before. And he's forced with a lot of choices. This is also said to be written about residential schools, which I'm from Canada. So that is a big part of our history, and like the residential schools, 60s scoop, anything to do with that topic. So, which I could see that as I read it. I obviously learned about it in school. Well, I shouldn't say obviously, because they did not talk about it when my mom was in school, she always says, but they did when I was in school. And it's a disgusting, horrific part of Canada's history. And so it was interesting to see the similarities in this book and the metaphors and parallels. Orphanage is on its own island, and the village that's closest to it, the people there are terrified of them and don't want them anywhere near them and are disgustingly rude. Seeing how they're treated as other and shipped off to this separate place, I don't know, it was interesting to read about it in this way. I would like to hear from like Indigenous creators and how they feel about the inspiration being, or I don't know if the inspiration was originally from that. I don't actually know the story. I just know like TJ Klune's story of the connection. I just know people have said that it's connected to that, and it made sense when I was reading it. So yeah, I'd like to see how maybe Indigenous creators feel about that, or readers in general feel about it. Maybe I should check the reviews. Overall, I know this is a really loved book and I enjoyed it. I liked seeing the development of each character, learning to get to know them, and how they grew throughout the book. I don't know if people like the sequel that not just came out, but that came out not that long ago. I actually don't know if people enjoyed it. It doesn't really feel like it needs a sequel, so I don't know if I'll read it, because I don't want it to ruin the first one, you know? I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I'm glad I finally read it, and it was definitely interesting. So, if you haven't gotten to it, I would recommend it, and I would definitely recommend the audiobook, because that's how I read it, and it was really well done. So, another library hold down. It is May 14th already, and I finished another book. I read, I think it's Glow of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I can't remember the title. The second book in the Kindred Curse saga series or something like that. The first book is The Spark of the Everflame. where we follow DM, who is just a regular, degular healer in this world where the Descendants kind of rule everything, and it sucks to be immortal because they don't get nearly the treatment they deserve. The Descendants live a pretty lavish life, and DM's mom goes missing, and she's kind of trying to figure out what happened, and she saw her mom speaking to a Descended right before she disappeared, so she's pretty sure maybe he had something to do with it. She gets an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of Descended royalty and unlock the web of mysteries her mother left behind, with the dying king's handsome, mysterious heir watching her every move, and a ruthless mortal alliance recruiting her to join the growing civil war. DM will have to navigate the unwritten rules of love, power, and politics in order to save her family and all of mortal kind. That's what the first book is about. That one's really a setup. This one, I can't obviously tell you what happens, but it has a lot that happens. I think it could have been shorter. It was a really long audiobook. Once you speed it up, it's not that bad, but I think it's 20-something hours if you have it at regular speed, and I think they're like pretty chunky books. I don't think they really need to be, or this one didn't need to be. It definitely could have shortened up, but there was a lot that happened in this. I did really enjoy it. Just could have been shorter. DM was not my favorite in this book, but I did really like the romance in this book and the hardships throughout the battles. This one, I give this one 4 stars, which is what I gave the first one as well. I was hoping I would like it a little bit better, but I still enjoyed it. And I have the third one on hold at the library for the audiobook, which I won't get for a while. And then I didn't realize the fourth one wasn't out. I literally thought it was out and my library just wouldn't get it. But it's not coming out till next year, so it's okay that I have to wait for the audiobook. One more book down. I should be finishing 1 or 2 in the next couple days. So, hello. It is May 16th and I've finished a couple more books. So I first finished The Mother-in-Law by Sally Hepworth. This one is about a girl named Lucy, and we see her in the current timeline and back a few years when she first met her then boyfriend's mother, now mother-in-law, because they're married, like them meeting, to her mother-in-law being found dead. She had a suicide note left in her home saying that she wanted to commit suicide because she was full of cancer and she just wanted to go out kind of like on her own terms. However, as the police investigate it, there's no sign of any cancer in her, and they actually find poison and signs of suffocation instead. To a lot of people, her mother-in-law is like a great person. She helps with a lot of charities, but for some reason, Lucy and her mother-in-law, Diana, just have not really seemed to be on the same page. But when they are on the same page, there's a lot of miscommunication there. I enjoyed this one. It was definitely a middle of the road mystery. I didn't know that you would get the perspectives of both Lucy and Diana, so I liked that addition because I didn't really know that, and I didn't know that we were going to get flashbacks to 5 years ago and along the way making its way to working its way up to this death. I liked the audiobook. I would recommend the audiobook. This wasn't anything special, but I did enjoy it overall. I gave it 3 stars, maybe 3.5, but I don't know. I don't have super strong feelings about it in any way, but I thought it was good, and I'm glad I finally got to this because this one was on my TBR for the last 4 years-ish. So I got my hold in from the library for Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli is what I think is how it was pronounced on the audiobook. I think everyone says Ciccarelli, but I don't know. This is the first in the Crimson Moth series. So we follow Rune, who in this world right now, witches are kind of outlawed and being hunted. and murdered for being witches. And Rune is put in a hard position because her grandma is a witch and she knows she's a witch. Rune is also a witch. At this point, she didn't know she was one, but her grandma is saying, you need to tell them I'm a witch or else you're gonna get in trouble and killed as well. Basically sacrificing herself so Rune can live. And then not long after that, Rune finds out that she is a witch. Spending her days pretending to be nothing more than a vapid young socialite, Rune spends her nights as the Crimson Moth, a witch vigilante who rescues her kind from being purged, so killed. When a rescue goes wrong, she decides to throw the witch hunters off her scent and gain the intel she desperately needs by courting the handsome Gideon Sharp, a notorious and unforgiving witch hunter loyal to the revolution, who she can't help but find herself falling for. Gideon loathes the decadence and superficiality Rune represents, but when he learns the Crimson Moth has been using Rune's merchant ships to smuggle renegade witches out of the Republic, he inserts himself into her social circles by pretending to court her right back. He soon realizes that beneath her beauty and shallow facade is someone fiercely intelligent and tender who feels like his perfect match, except what if she's the very villain he's been hunting? So, witch hunter, forbidden romance. She's also best friends with his brother, and his brother has a little thing for her as well. I actually really enjoyed this one. I didn't know if I was gonna like it for some reason. I just wasn't sure, and I wasn't super excited about it when people were talking about it. And then I decided to put it on hold at my library we'll just see what it's all about. And I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give this one 4 stars. Not like my favorite thing ever, but that doesn't, most books aren't. But it was super good. The ending was really, really sad, and I'm excited. I should have put the second book on hold on my library when I put the first one on hold, but I didn't know if I was gonna like it. I'll have to wait a while to finish this series because I think it's just a duology. But I enjoyed it, so hopefully I enjoyed the second one. I think it's called Rebel Witch just as much. I think this one's in teen, and I think this is like a perfect example of why new adult needs to be a thing in publishing and all that, and in bookstores, because to me this wasn't teen. But I'm gonna give that one 4 stars. I actually only have like 40 pages left in another book, so you might see me in like an hour. I wanted to make sure I updated you guys today before I forgot, so I'm probably gonna go finish that book now. So hello guys, it is now into June, but I forgot to vlog my last book that I finished in May. I don't have it with me, but it is Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. My friends and I are tabbing it and passing it along, and then we're gonna come back together and see what everyone thinks of it. So I already gave it to my friend, so I'm sorry I don't have it with me. I think I have a picture of all my tabs, so I'll insert that here. But I enjoyed this one. It is a dark romance about a girl that has a crush on this TikToker that wears a mask and does sexual things online. She comments on his stuff, and basically he figures out who she is, kind of stalks her, and breaks into her house, and a romance ensues. One thing I was nervous about going into it, I'm not sure how I feel about stalking in general, but specifically obviously with romance. That part isn't too long of it, and it's quite clear that she's interested in it. It's not weird. I enjoyed this one for the most part. There's definitely cringe parts, but there was very good parts as well. I gave it 4 stars overall. The audiobook is really good because it's dual narration. Not even just dual narration, like if it's her chapter, her point of view, but he talks in it, the male narrator talks, if that makes sense. Because usually if it's her chapter, just the female narrator will talk, even if the male is talking. Even if the male character is talking, the female will just do a voice for them, but not in this one. So it was a really, really good audiobook. and I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm going to continue on in the series. I'm not sure that I'm very interested in the next book. It's the girl main character's cousin is the male main character for this next one, I think. I can't remember if that came out already or is still coming out soon, but probably by the time you see this. But that was probably one of my least favorite parts of Lights Out, is the part with her family. So I think that was the last book. I haven't really read very much for June, so hopefully it picks up and you'll see a good June wrap up as well. But I feel like I had some really good books in May. Let me know down below what you read in May, and if you've read any of the books that I mentioned in this vlog, let me know what you thought of them as well. And make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!